It is time to talk week number 7 and get you set for the NFL DFS main slate by doing a snake draft here over on FanDuel.com and taking your questions live on air afterwards. This is the snake draft Q&A right here on the FanDuel YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter channels. My name is Jim Sonis. I am a senior writer and analyst for NumberFire.com, joined here as always by Brandon Gadula and JJ Zachariason. JJ is the editor-in-chief of NumberFire and FanDuel. JJ, we are on to week number 7. We got a lot of moving parts for this slate. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I feel like this slate's kind of interesting. There's a lot of directions you can go in with one very, very obvious game that people can target and stack if they want to, which they probably should, even though it's chalky. But yeah, I'm good. I'm excited for the weekend.
Sometimes chalk is chalk for a reason, man. That's my philosophy. Sometimes chalk can be good. Let's talk to Brandon Gadula. He is the managing editor of NumberFire.com. Brandon, didn't have any crazy, weird injury news come out this week after we recorded our podcast on Thursday, so I'm feeling pretty good. How are you doing today?
Yeah, unfortunately, though, I don't want to say that because then it means I was hoping for some injury news, but that leaves us in
rest up.
Yeah. That leaves us with a pretty difficult slate with the one game that we already alluded to here, which is the Chiefs and Titans. To make it clear,
I was talking about the Giants,
Patriots.
I was going to say Giants Panthers.
Are we not on the same page?
Hey, I just wanted to clarify. I thought it couldn't hurt.
Are you not stacking Zach Wilson with Elijah Moore and running it back with Kendrick Bourne?
I am not, actually.
Oh, wow. Contrarian. All right.
What I was going to say is that we have the one game, and then a lot of the other games kind of have some question marks, and there's not like a clear number 2 game to go at. But, I think that makes it a very intriguing slate from a differentiation standpoint, which is always something that I do a lot because I like to make dumb plays and try to justify them. So
imagine making good plays when you can instead make bad plays. Sounds a lot better to me. Personally, we're going to break down your questions, getting you set for week number 7. So as you're watching here, feel free to put those questions in the chat, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch. We'll take questions no matter where you are watching. We'll take those questions and get to those after we do the snake draft later on here for today. Also, a quick reminder to make sure you are subscribed wherever you are watching, because we are live now once again every weekday here on the FanDuel YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter pages. We have our Monday and Thursday Night Football previews. We have waiver wire Q&A on Tuesday. Tom Vecchio has NBA DFS on Wednesdays now for each Wednesday going forward. So we're live every weekday at 4 p.m. Just hit subscribe. Also, like the YouTube, like it on YouTube, like it everywhere else. We appreciate it. Those of you who have done so already. Let's get this snake draft cooking. JJ, do you want to put that entry in and get us started?
Let's do it.
All
and
right.
Jimbo gets the 101.
All righty, tough choice. Do I go with Derrick Henry or do I go with Derrick Henry? I don't know. It's a tough call there, deciding between if I want to go with the big dog or want to go with little puppies elsewhere. It's got to be Derrick Henry.
No, it felt like a lock for Jim to get the 101.
I mean, we are tied up now.
I was going to say, although it's JJ's turn to win because we've had
true.
perfect sequence here. So does that mean Derrick Henry is going to underperform?
Does that mean that I pivot from Henry to disrupt the universe? Do I try to throw the puzzle pieces off here?
I don't love the 102. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. I like 103 more than 102.
I like 101 more than both those, so I will definitely take it. Derrick Henry facing the Chiefs here in that one shootout. Henry, just a standout play above everyone else. I know it's not like a shocking declaration. He has $11,000 on FanDuel for this week, and he is well worth that. So as this draft gets underway, I will take Derrick Henry at the 1.01, and the intrigue begins after that. On to JJ with the second pick. What are we thinking here?
I think I'm going to stick with that game. I think the optimal move in a 3-man here is to go with Tyreek Hill with the 102. More. So I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill.
I think that's the right play. I think that the drop off after Henry at running back is massive, and I'd rather go receiver there. And Hill to me is the wide receiver 1 for this week. So Brandon's up with 3 and 4.
Yeah. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to get Tyreek, but now it's a question of skipping running back entirely or making sure my running backs, when they get back to me, aren't completely setting me back too much. So, I mean, it's between the Rams here with Cooper Kupp and Darrell Henderson.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to lean Henderson just so that I have one of the running back slots filled, because running back's not deep enough to have you guys fill in any flexes and have me. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Henderson and give JJ, Tyreek Hill, and Cooper Kupp to start.
Okay. So
yeah, I mean, I was basically going either Henderson or Kupp with the next pick. I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp and hope that, I do think that Henderson's the RB2. Here, I should probably just pick Cooper Kupp. My finger just fat fingered that. I do think that Henderson's the RB2 in this draft. But I do think there are still some interesting options at running back that, are viable enough. But I would agree that going there, given that you're at the turn, Brandon, it's not the easiest position to be in, and you don't want to really get screwed at the running back position.
So I went Aaron Jones, and for a salary cap format, I think he's pretty massively oversalaried, but I think here I'm okay with taking him there. Just
Are you going to do it? Oh, sorry.
Am I going to do what?
I feel like I know who you might want to take.
Oh, you think I was going to take someone else? I know who you thought I was going to take. Or I'm pretty sure I know who you thought I was going to take. Do I? Or what do you think I was going to do? I mean, don't give away. Never mind. Anyway, so I went Aaron Jones. I think that he's oversalaried for a salary cap because $8,500. But in a snake draft, I know he will get usage despite the fact that A.J. Dillon is there. I know that game is going to be pretty fun from a scoring perspective. So I like that quite a bit. And the touchdown equity still. Oh, no, JJ.
That's who I thought you would take. He was next up for me anyway.
Yeah, okay. I thought I might be able to weasel my way into him later on.
Who would have thought that Leonard Fournette would cause such an S-storm on this show?
Travis Kelce, off the injury report, expected to play.
I only know of Sunday Afternoon Lenny. He's the only person I've ever heard of. Is that who you're referring to?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So going back to mine, I went Mahomes because the game
you wanted to ruin everyone else's stack.
No, I think it's because the fall off at quarterback is pretty big after him this week from an upside perspective, and that was kind of the key decision point for me there. So you got Kelce, which means that I'm spread out, meaning every touchdown Mahomes throws benefits both of you, which is good, or one of you at least. It's fun. And AJ Brown, he of the runny mess.
I feel like what I'm about to do is dumb. But I'm going to do it because of the game environment and such and the usage. But I'm going Darrell Williams with my next pick.
I don't mind that. I think that totally works. I can get behind it, which means I get Calvin Ridley, who I actually did consider with my pick previously, just given the usage he was getting before he got banged up. And then I'm going to go, do I go Godwin or DJ Moore? I think both of them are pretty fun for this week.
I was between Ridley, Moore, and Brown, but because I just took Kelce, I figured I might as well go Brown for some stacking correlation.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with DJ Moore because the target volume there is so good.
I'm going to go with Godwin then and get a nice little buck stack with Fournette.
Okay, so I'm not going to get a stack I like because I'm not taking Aaron Rodgers. Mahomes is off the board, and I'm not taking Tannehill in a snake draft format. So I'm going to go with, I think, the best play outside of that game. And it's going to be Jalen Hurts. I talked a lot about his splits with Lane Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
He's a much better quarterback with Lane Johnson, unsurprisingly. Oh, boy. This is just kind of take your pick between these backs here. Could be DeAndre Swift, but I might go Chuba Hubbard. I regret that already.
This is putting me in a really weird spot because I think Kyler is the best play straight up here, but I have Stafford with Cooper Kupp, and I don't know what to do right now, given the situation. I think
Kupp gives you exposure to Stafford, which is kind of nice.
That's I'm going Kyler.
That was the right play.
Only because, as you noted, Jim, Stafford or Cooper Kupp's going to see 30% of the team's targets anyway in that game.
Right.
And if Cooper Kupp doesn't go off or doesn't have a good game, I'm not going to win anyway. So what's the point in doing that?
Okay, so our teams are final. Let's talk to JJ first. You did go with Kyler there. I think that was the correct call. And I get worried about blowouts at quarterback. I worry a lot less when it's a running quarterback, and I worry a lot less in a 3-person format. So I think that both those things are helpful for Kyler here. And you seem concerned about the Darrell Williams pick, but I think that it makes sense. He got a lot of usage last week. He is in the best game on the board. He got a lot of red zone usage, 6 out of 14 chances inside the red zone last week. I think that was the right move, regardless of how you felt about it.
And so to look at like the running back landscape, whenever I made that pick, it was like Chuba, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, those kind of running backs that were left. And the way that I see it is, maybe some of those guys will have better market shares and backfield shares this week. But you could argue that it's not significantly different if there is any difference. And then you're obviously associating him with the team with the highest point total this week that could smash. So might as well just go that direction instead of going with like a Jacobs or someone who's just like a more of a high floor, not super fun play.
Yeah, I think that it was the correct call. I love the Godwin pick too. I don't know. I kind of wish I had gone there, but over more. I like both of them, but I think I kind of hedged by getting Evans, I guess, later on as like a consolation prize to get exposure to the Bucks with Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski both being ruled out. A big bump up for both those guys, I would say. I was talking to Brandon about his team. I think Henderson was the correct move once you got those other guys taken away. I'd put him above Kupp by a little bit. I think that I probably would have gone that way as well. Thoughts on your team here?
Yeah, I'm trying to piece together which backs would have gotten back to me. I know if I didn't take Henderson, one of you would have taken him, and that kind of bumps things down. But I would have been looking at like that Darrell Williams, like Chuba Hubbard, Josh Jacobs range for both of my running backs, and I didn't. That's what I wanted to avoid. I regret not going with Kyler. I'm not that high on Kyler from a salary cap format. But from a floor standpoint, I should have gone there over Hurts. Hurts is the kind of potentially QB2 for me outside of Mahomes in the salary cap format. I think I was just drawn to that and kind of overlooked Kyler, which is, part of the fun, but also the strategy of snake draft is to go from breaking down the slate from a salary cap standpoint and then looking at things completely differently. But overall, I mean, can't go wrong with Devante, really. I got a stack of that Chiefs and Titans game. Chuba Hubbard's probably not gonna win me this thing, but might not lose it for me if he gets the workload that he can get. So, I mean, overall, I know I'm projected for the lowest score, but I feel pretty solid.
Should have gone with the best running back on the board, Cordero Patterson. Like, just disrespectful not to go that way. How dare you? Like, massive oversight there. For mine, I felt good about the Henry pick, and I think I made the right move with Jones. Shut up. I know. I think I made the right move with Jones. I wish the one I wanted back was Mahomes. I think I should have gone with Fournette there because Fournette versus, DJ Moore or Mike Evans. I think I kind of want Fournette there, but honestly, like, it broke okay. I like the Ridley pick a lot. I was happy that I got him there, but kind of sort of think I should have gone elsewhere at quarterback, but I guess I can't cry too much if my quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. So either way, we'll see how things break for this week. Someone will take a 3-2-2 lead after this week across the snake draft. Let's transition now to take some questions via YouTube, wherever you are watching. We'll slide on over there and get your questions out there right now. Let's start things off with Daniel. Are Devante, Freeman, and OJ Howard viable by Apocalypse flex fillers? Other options include AJ Dillon and Michael Carter. I actually don't mind AJ Dillon this week, but JJ, preference for you in that situation, Devante Freeman versus OJ Howard, AJ Dillon, and Michael Carter.
I would lean the running backs in this case over a guy like Howard, who, is pretty unpredictable, like what his usage is going to look like. I expect, like, I think a guy like Tyler Johnson's really interesting if he's a guy on your waiver wire, to flex above someone like OJ Howard. Don't just think about Gronk is out and therefore this tight end on the Buccaneers is going to step in and fill Gronk's shoes. It's more so Antonio Brown is out too. And in 11 personnel, we're going to see Tyler Johnson because Scotty Miller, for the record, is on IR. So Tyler Johnson, to me, is a very, very intriguing sleeper this week. And I would go that. I know that he wasn't part of that question. But if he's on the waiver wire, which he is in the majority of leagues, I'd probably go that direction. Of that group, though, I do think AJ Dillon's probably still my pick. I know that with what's his name, I'm just like completely having a brain fart. But with the Baltimore backfield the way that it is, with Latavius Murray out, my gosh, I couldn't think about Latavius. With Latavius Murray out, I do think that there's still going to be a split backfield. Tyson Williams is probably going to be active in that game. They're not going to see a running back have 50% of that backfield because we haven't seen that all season long. Freeman could see some receiving work, but AJ Dillon is probably going to see a similar backfield share as Devante Freeman would. And I sort of trust the Green Bay offense more this week than I would the Baltimore offense. So I'd probably lean AJ Dillon of that running back group. And I can't believe I couldn't remember Latavius Murray's name.
Well, I mean, there's no point, honestly. Like,
I didn't know where you were going.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
No, I was like, wait, who's that?
I
was like, Le'Veon Bell's playing. Tyson Williams, who was the other guy? Yeah.
I mean, there are like 15 dudes you got to sort through. So, like, we've all been there before. Grim Fan is asking Christian Kirk or T.Y. Hilton. I don't know if Hilton's going to play. He's questionable. So I'd probably go Kirk just to get access to that game there. DJ says, I'm always low on Kendrick Bourne. Yeah, I am low on a guy who's had more than 5 targets once this year and has exceeded 30 yards 3 times. It's a tough one for me to get behind there. Let's talk to you, Brian. Let's go to Brandon with this one. You tried to talk me to Sam Darnold. I said no, and I still say no. Tannehill or Darnold this week?
Tannehill. Tannehill's got good splits. He's played 2 top 3 defenses based on Number Fire's projection or metrics. 4 outside the top 20, I think. And 2 of those with AJ Brown. In those games with AJ Brown against comparable defenses to the Chiefs, he's doubled up the league average in passing efficiency. It is still Sam Darnold week. I think that there's a lot that could be turned around for Sam Darnold in a more promising matchup. But for me, it's going to be Tannehill in that one.
No shot.
Can we also talk about how Tannehill has not been nearly as bad as what people generally think? I mean, when you look at the context, like as Brandon just did and alluded to, but the other thing too with the Titans that people need to like realize is that yes, Derrick Henry's beasting. I understand he's very, very good, but the way the Titans are scoring touchdowns right now, the rate of scoring them on the ground is not going to continue at this rate through the rest of the season. They've had a 0.5 pass to rush touchdown ratio. That's something that we just haven't seen over the last decade. It doesn't happen. So expect a little bit more regression from that perspective. And that means more passing touchdowns for Ryan Tannehill.
And sounds like Julio's going to play this week, which is a pretty big upgrade for Tannehill. I know that he hasn't
surprising.
He's been more dependent on AJ Brown playing, but like it's still Julio freaking Jones. So I'll take it for sure. Ryan, would you trade Alvin Kamara for Tyreek Hill and Devante Smith? Alvin Kamara's bye week is past, but that's a pretty good return. So JJ, are you accepting that one or no?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I feel like Kamara should be the side that has an extra piece to it, right? Almost, I would almost just say the Kamara for Tyreek swap makes sense. But getting Devante Smith with it too, who's, he's seen a healthy target share this season, and, rookies tend to start slower and they can finish the season stronger. And, Devante Smith is good. So I would do that all day. Yeah. I mean, especially if you're good at the running back position.
Absolutely. Me as well. Let's talk to Joseph. This one is for Brandon. I'm going to ask you to rank all these guys. Jalen Waddle, Robbie Anderson, Darnell Mooney, Marquez Callaway, and AJ Green. Weirdly, none of them are that bad. Those are all pretty good options, I would say. Any preference for you on that list, Brandon? Do you want? I mean, none of them are, I guess, that efficient. But anyway, how are you viewing this group here?
To rank them, I'm going to go with my projections. I have them: Jalen Waddle, Robbie Anderson, Darnell Mooney, AJ Green, Marquez Callaway.
It's almost exactly in that order. I might go Mooney over Robbie. I don't know. That's probably stupid based on volume, but also like, does volume matter when you're bad? So,
well, I think it's pretty clearly Waddle for me, number one. I know you said that there's a case for all of them, but for me, it's going to be Jalen number one. From there, it's pretty close in terms of my projections. So it's kind of multiple coin flips, but probably Waddle, Anderson, Mooney, I think would be the top 3. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm into Mooney this week. He's kind
I
of
like
fun.
Mooney this week too.
Yeah.
And look, I wouldn't be surprised. Not that you can play him in season long very confidently, or even DFS to some degree, but I do think that this could be an Allen Robinson get right week as well.
It needs to be because I am starting both those guys in one super flex league. So what could go wrong? That team is doing great, as I'm sure you predicted. Let's talk to Luke. Would you guys rather start Rashad Bateman or Corey Davis in the flex? I'm okay with both. I'd probably go Bateman here, though. JJ, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, think of it this way. Both guys project to have a similar target share this week, and Bateman has the better matchup, has the better quarterback, probably going to end up having maybe a little less passing volume in the offense, but I could see both of these guys having like 6 to 9 targets this week, and
Nice.
I would rather have Bateman in that scenario because the matchup's better and the offense is better, and that is very nice.
Bateman's also $5,300 on FanDuel this week, and I'm inclined to have a whole lot of that personally.
Yeah.
Let's talk to DJ. Brandon, would you start Jacoby Myers this week? No additional options, but I feel like in most situations, given all the buys this week, you're probably not gonna have a lot of choice here.
He's probably all right.
Yeah, so this is the perfect place to like plug the start sit article that I publish, which looks at not just like
that, Brandon.
You can find that on numberfire.com.
Oh, okay, nice.
It goes through basically every relevant fantasy asset and their range of outcomes in terms of their odds to finish top 12, or in this case, top 24 at receiver. And then you can kind of mix and match and compare within the position to see who, because Jacoby Myers, just start or sit is a hard question, but I feel like he would be, generally fine to start. But this is a really good spot where I can plug that article, which I think is very helpful here.
On a great site, numberfire.com. Let's talk to Kyle, sticking with you, Brandon. Where would you rank a Buck stack this week? So Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski both ruled out. The Bucks are heavy favorites, but it's a game that's like kind of fun from like a total perspective. We're probably going to see the Bears dare it out a little bit. The target tree are narrowed down here as well, and we've seen the Bucks throw a lot when they're ahead too. So of the like heavily favored teams this week, my level of concern is lowest with the Buccaneers. So Brandon, now that we know Brown and Gronkowski are out, where are you ranking the Buck stacks today or this week?
Yeah. So my projections aren't fully updated for the Antonio Brown news. I actually have, my 90th percentile stack scores, even before adjusting for that. The Brady Godwin and the Brady Evans stack were top 15 for the main slate, which doesn't sound necessarily great, but that looks at, Mahomes plus Hill, Mahomes plus Kelsey, Lamar plus all his pass catchers, things like that. I would probably bump them up to, that's like a top 3, top 4 team to stack at this point. I would say the Chiefs, salary wise, still the Titans, possibly Lamar and his pass catchers, but you have surprisingly more pass catchers for the Ravens now than the Bucs that you would consider. So I think they're way up the board since we talked yesterday about the slate.
Yeah, I think that they're pretty fun. I think that where I agree with your rankings, I would say the tipping point for me is, do I rank Brady / Godwin or Evans higher than Hurts and Devante Smith? And I think they're very even. I could go either way with that one. I think that's where I'm at. And that to me is a very positive view of them. JJ, preference for you between Mike Evans at $7,100 and Chris Godwin at $67? Because I like both, and I'm having a hard time deciding.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably just lean the cheaper of the two, just to play it safe and have a little bit more exposure that way, because I think both will end up projecting. Here's the other thing too. I like the matchup in the slot against the Bears every single week, and I think there's we're going to see more of that with Godwin, even though they'll both play the perimeter. So I'll probably lean Godwin a little bit more. Plus, you get the salary cap relief, but obviously, Mike Evans has 2+ touchdown upside every time he touches the field.
Yep. Both are good. That's the answer for here. Let's go back to JJ here by talking to CJ, getting the initials here. Which side do you prefer rest of season? Stafford, DK Metcalf, Austin Eckler, or Aaron Rodgers with Devante Adams, and James Robinson? Preference for you, JJ, on that one?
I don't think this is particularly that close. I don't know about you guys, but I'm taking the Rodgers side pretty easily. I mean,
for Devante, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's Rodgers and Stafford is, let's just call it a wash. And then you're looking at DK versus Devante Adams. Now, if Russ were healthy, this would be a different discussion. I think it would be a lot closer of a trade. But with Russ not being healthy, and I still think there's a non-zero chance Russ doesn't play the rest of the season just because they could be very bad and they might not want to rush him back. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I just think there's a chance that happens. And Devante Adams has like a 36, 37% target share this year. He's doing what he did last year. Basically, the touchdowns just haven't been there. And then James Robinson, someone who I talked about on my 15 transactions show this week. He's someone who I think is a buy right now, despite performing really well, because the numbers are there, the backfield share is there, but all the while, the rest of season schedule for Robinson is very, very, very strong. I love Eckler. There's a downgrade from Eckler to Robinson, don't get me wrong, but I think the upgrade from DK to Devante Adams makes that trade worthwhile.
With the Russ news, it's very easy for me to go there, especially with how Robinson's doing. It's no question for me. Let's talk to your old Adam. Would you start Christian Kirk or Michael Pittman in your flex spot this week? The complication here, I'd go Pittman every time. The problem is weather looks real nasty for Sunday Night Football because there is rain and there is wind. Rough combination. So I still lean Pittman because of the volume, but like it makes me really, really nervous there with where the weather is at. So I don't know. I would check back on that on Sunday to see where the weather is. If it improves, go Pittman. If not, we'll see. Aaron, who's the GOAT? Good question.
Tom Brady.
Chad
LeBron.
Pennington? Okay.
Football?
Well, we went different angles there. I'm going to go Chad Pennington. You can go with LeBron if you want, but I feel like Chad Pennington probably beat LeBron in basketball. I don't know. I'll decide that one later. Grim Fan just traded T. Higgins and Zach Ertz, who won the trade. I'm assuming this means T. Higgins for Zach Ertz. I'd probably still want the T. Higgins side of that one. He actually leads the Bengals in targets in the games he's played with Jamar Chase. He's not getting any deep work, which is super annoying. But like, I still think I still want that situation for me personally over Ertz. What do you think, JJ?
Yeah, I mean, Ertz is still probably a low-end tight end one at best in this new environment. You know, we talked about this, Jim, on our show. Is it an upgrade for Ertz? But I'm going to say that it is, it is an upgrade for Ertz, but not dramatically enough.
All right, let's talk to the Rosenberg. Is Antonio Gibson a sit this week? Given the projected game script, would Devante Freeman be a better option? So, Brandon, you have your numbers, which show you range of outcomes for Antonio Gibson versus Devante Freeman. I feel like even with the concerns around Antonio Gibson, we're still going with him over Devante Freeman at least, right?
Yeah. He said that he's going to play. Like that was basically the report there for Gibson. So that's at least encouraging that he wants to play. No, there is a game script concern, but also that game overall should lead to some points. And if Antonio Gibson's playing, he can still get the goal line work within that offense. So I'm going to have a hard time trusting any Baltimore back, and anything that's remotely better than that situation. I would go with Gibson there.
Yeah. I think that I would as well, just because like if it were a better alternative, I would consider it. But in that situation, I'm just going to go with Antonio Gibson. Aaron says Brady is a GOAT. So you're playing Hurts over him. Don't do it, Jim. Aaron, I could use a don't do it, Jim reminder at all times, like for a lot of situations. This is a more broad evergreen comment, and I appreciate it. So thank you either way. Update on the Grim Fan trade. It was T. Higgins and Zach Ertz for Deontay Johnson. I think that's the actual trade here. You're getting Deontay Johnson, who gets a ton of targets. I feel like here I'd prefer the Deontay side. JJ
easily
with that. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure
easily.
that was correct. Okay. Joseph, Ramondre Stevenson or Devante Freeman. This one's closer. JJ, what you got here?
Probably going Freeman only because, and I love Stevenson. I've been talking up Stevenson the last few weeks, but Freeman, I think, is a better lock to see work. Now, Stevenson was a sleeper on my show this week, and one of the main reasons is if you look at adjusted target share allowed to the running back position, New York is actually first in the league this season, and Stevenson obviously running more routes this past week. But, I don't want people to confuse Stevenson running the most routes on the team with Stevenson running all of the routes for the New England backfield. It's more of a trend than anything else, where maybe that trend continues and he sees even more this week, but let's just wait and see and wait for that to happen and just kind of go with the guy in a timeshare who's probably going to see, 10 attempts and 3 targets or 4 targets in that backfield.
Yeah, I think that I'd agree with that as well. Okay, that is all the time that we have here for today on the Snake Draft Q&A. Quick reminder from Samuel to check out the Late Round Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that, Samuel. Check out the Late Round Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. You can find JJ on Twitter at Late Round QB. JJ, good luck to you in week number 7, and thanks for coming on for today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Brandon, you can find him on Twitter at Gadula13. Brandon, good luck to you again outside of the Snake Draft, and I appreciate you. Have a good weekend as well.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, I am on Twitter at Jim Sannes, JimSannes. Big thank you to Joy Affleck, our video producer, for running the video side of things here today. Thank you, Joy, as always. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. We appreciate all of you. Have a great week 7. We'll talk to you once again next week for another Snake Draft. This has been the FanDuel Live Q&A.